Did you really believe Bonnie and Clyde, the messiest people in Harlem, would get away with inventing a complete baby in order to keep their names popular and their purses full? Oh, please take a seat and turn off all notifications because what I'm going to reveal is so soiled, so embarrassing, and so reprehensibly consistent with these two that not even the most petty parts of Twitter can make this story seem attractive. Imagine waking up to a leaked video of Chrissy, the self-described ride-or-die queen, whispering, "Sweet baby," into a burner phone, while Camron, Mr. Pink Mink, stands 3 steps back, acting as the puppet master for this sleazy soap drama. In Harlem, check for fake tears. Verify the fake medical notes. Baby checkmate. Secret money drips behind budget motel doors. How far down does this rabbit hole actually go? How many bogus charity checks, reunion agreements, and sponsorships did these two profit from as everyone applauded a fictitious pregnancy? The worst part is that one by one, the receipts are leaking out. And believe me, you will have a completely different perspective on a baby bump by the end of today. Hold on tight because this expose could make the internet go crazy. I assure you that the so-called power couple of Harlem did not make a mistake overnight. So let's uncover the dirty layers of the circus. No, years of preparation went into creating this shady masterpiece, which was disguised by faked engagement rings, reality show tears, and Instagram posts so phony they could fool a ghost. Let's start by going back to the heyday when Camron strutted around like a peacock for Don Dada and Chrissy Lannan anointed herself the First Lady of Harlem. Jim Jones believed he had the last unbroken brotherhood in Harlem at that time. Bless his faithful idiot heart. Even Mona Scochung might wonder if this was too scandalous for cable TV. But beneath all that dipset nostalgia, there are snake pits, hush money, and a phony pregnant tummy. It is said that the rot began and VH1's reunion shows began to draw sluggish ratings in 2017. Chrissy was aware that her Creon Q abilities were rapidly becoming less useful. Cam was aware that his solo buzz was confined to half-baked tour flyers and 2005 nostalgia. So, what are the two hustlers doing in the dusty limelight? Simple. Create a new mess. The narrative of the false baby begins. Insiders, by which I mean Chrissy's former nail technician, who was unable to remain quiet, claimed that Cam heard the first rumors of her pregnancy at a dubious brunch at Harlem Tavern. "What if the world believes I'm pregnant?" Asta snarled, as she tapped Cam's iced-out watch while leaning over her mimosa. Once more, Cam didn't even bat an eye. After that breakfast, baby scams turned into baby plans. He took out his second phone, not the public one. The burner-ran mumbled, "If you sell it right, we all eat good." Chrissy re-followed former Instagram sponsors. After that incident backstage in 2011, Cam made amends with reality show producers, who vowed never to collaborate with him again. And Jim, poor Jimmy, who has no idea. Every "I love you, Daddy" text she sent him at 2 a.m. He continued to believe while clandestinely organizing covert payments for dubious ultrasound bills. Time traveled to the spring of 2022. Chrissy began to get odd bumps on her. Selfies, she's beaming according to fan pages, but Harlem barbershops whispered that her belly looks like a pillow. Cam, meanwhile, took advantage of every cloud drop. He hinted at giving the crew new life in a teaser, promised mysterious Instagram stories with baby emojis, and made crude jabs at Jim. A true guy nurtures his seeds and takes responsibility for his faults. It was successful. Offers of sponsorship, maternity photo shoots, mommy podcasts, and baby businesses have appeared out of nowhere. According to a source, Chrissy was given a 5-figure deal by a major vitamin company to do a YouTube vlog about her pregnant health journey. They had no idea that her bank account, not her womb, was the only thing expanding. This is where things start to get messy. These two went beyond mere pretense. Not at all. They ensured that the falsehood appeared unbreakable. On Cam's private payroll was a visiting OB/GYN from Jersey who, according to rumors, had her license revoked in 2018 for dubious medical documentation, before any suspicious PR agent could request verification of due dates. Chrissy was given phony blood tests, sonograms, and prenatal appointment receipts that were all made on a burner laptop and stored on an encrypted USB. Cam sat 2 blocks away at a hookah lounge, laughing with his inner group as Jim took hazy bathroom pictures with Chrissy's manufactured bump. Harlem is still foolish enough to buy anything if you add some reality TV tears to it. Savage but not unexpected. If it weren't for one mistake that even Cam's paranoia couldn't correct, it might have remained hidden as well. The cleaning woman in that notorious hotel room in Midtown. Yes, 3 unopened prenatal medication bottles are connected to the same cleaning woman who discovered an unusually flat pregnancy belly band thrown in the garbage. She snapped a photo. She sent a direct message to a Harlem gossip writer who was desperate for clicks. Boom, the baby hoax was exposed. In a matter of hours, #ChrissyFakeBump became popular. Cam's phone exploded with death threats from Dipset stans who said he had attacked his brother for clout money, rather than congratulatory direct messages. Chrissy was abandoned by her lawyer. Mona Scott-Young even, the queen of I refused to answer her calls, saying, "Give me the mess and I'll spin it." The leak was only the appetizer, so hold on, it gets hotter. The main entree, bank statements, came out next. Digital folders were posted online by an unidentified whistleblower, who some claim was a dissatisfied intern from Cam's brief podcast endeavor. Fans did what fans do best, as seen by screenshots of hush money, phony prenatal bills, and hotel reservations made under fictitious LLC names such as Mommy Empire Consulting LLC. Every mistake was linked to a meme, and the entire scheme was cooked throughout the following week. TikTok investigators compare Chrissy's alleged due date with other dates to her club appearances when she miraculously had a bump by breakfast but abs by midnight. Throughout the night, Twitter was raging. Did Jim fail to anticipate this? Nonsense. Dipset's debut mixtape, Cam Has Been a Snake. You all simply forgot? Harlem's messiest soap opera was far from ended. So if you thought this was the last leak, fasten your seatbelt. Jim was about to post a prayer hands emoji on Instagram and do damage control when more screenshots appeared. This time from burner phone records, private voice notes, Chrissy's cousins pilfered iCloud, and a dubious agreement with a dubious public relations business that promised viral release of content related to pregnancy. Cam, meanwhile, disappeared. Not a single petty tweet. No freestyle diss track. No cryptic live. Harlem knew he was committing sin or planning his next move in chess because of the quiet. Chrissy, however, was unable to conceal. She had no ring, no bump, and no idea how to turn this PR car accident into a new job when she was discovered by paparazzi leaving a nail salon. The real slap is right here. It was time for sponsors to flee. Refunds, the maternity photo studio, that vitamin brand, and the possibility of a lawsuit. One company even shared a barbaric tweet. Fake infants are not acceptable to us. With immediate effect, we have ended all partnerships. Once more, the internet went down. Now, stop. Breathe deeply. You're terribly mistaken if you believe that this swindle ended with dubious invoices and exposed hotel bracelets. Clout wasn't the only thing this baby bombshell was about. The final fairy tale couple in Harlem was destroyed by the ticking time bomb, caused a federal audit and shattered devotion. And just when you believed the Harlem rumors would finally stop, you were mistaken. Because the subsequent decline didn't. Just it pulled to old friends Story and Cam back into the shady spotlight they claimed to have left behind. Stay with me. This scandal is going to be thoroughly examined in part 2. You'll wish this was just lousy reality TV at the end. I promise, it's far worse. Welcome to the real Harlem. If you thought the rumors from the barbershop and the jokes on Twitter were enough to expose the sham, Camron and Chrissy weren't the only ones dragged by the receipts that were suddenly leaking out. They pulled a switch that made the dusty backstage secrets of Harlem into a federal sideshow that no one could clean up. Not even Mona Scott with her unbreakable NDAs. Asterisk beneath the rug of the reunion. This is the spiral. The irate intern who threw away the burner laptop screenshots and hotel band invoices didn't stop there. Jim Jones, who referred to himself as Harlem's last loyal king, went nuclear while the other half cried out, Cam was the puppet master, the evil genius, making Harlem's queen sell out her last drop of dignity for clout crumbs. Ignore the hands of prayer. Ignore the religious sayings. He used Instagram Live to display his own receipts. With his hoodie half off and his voice trembling, he barked into a phone while sitting in a dimly lit studio in front of almost 200,000 viewers. Have you ever loved someone so much that you allowed M to ruin you twice? You're all making fun of me, but I was she and Cam built up a falsehood behind my back, and she was playing father to it. The discussion was swamped with fans. King, keep going. You're worthy of better. Cam was held accountable for this treachery. The chronology melted down the more Jim shared his anguish in real time. Millions of people were caught in a never-ending cycle of nostalgia and embarrassment when TikTok editors combined video of him crying with old Dipset footage. But sadness is just the beginning of Harlem's tangled DNA. When the money trail becomes tense, it turns into a criminal case. As a result, in addition to that PR file, the even tax agents were alerted when the whistleblower posted incomplete bank ledgers, PayPal invoices, purporting to be pregnant wellness coaching, stacks of $2,500 wire payments linked to an LLC called Harlem's Events, and Zelle transfers concealed behind fictitious catering companies. That was a breadcrumb trail with extra cheese for the IRS and FBI. Word quickly spread by morning. Sit-down was requested by federal agents, according to the rumor mill at 5 a.m. Homeland Security broke into one of Cam's former Queen's studios, M, searching for a backup drive. Even one gossip blogger shared a hazy image of a black SUV parked outside Chrissy's cousin's condo, Allegedly, showing her cousin being questioned by the feds about hush money receipts. Cam remained in ghost mode while the street roared for RICO and racketeering. No shady bar on Instagram, no petty tweet with sobbing laugh emojis. No freestyle clapback, just radio quiet, which is more terrifying to Cam than any diss track. Because everyone in Harlem is aware that Cam is cooking something deadly when he is silent. Chrissy, the former ride-or-die queen on reality TV, was left to drown by herself in the meantime. In 2 days, she was photographed twice by paparazzi. Once, wearing larger shades, I ducked into a lawyer's Midtown office. Next, her dignity, driving a borrowed black Escalade while crying outside a maternity store. She allegedly conned others into giving them free baby bump props. Brands acted before an apology was offered. Sponsor of that vitamin is no longer there. She was ghosted by a cruel pinned comment from a designer baby clothing brand on Instagram after they taunted her. Only true miracles are clothed by us. We hope Miss Lampkin finds peace and time to think. Few are the Harlemies. Keep them from starting. Beauty old heads clucking their tongues lighted up salons. When Chrissy made Jimmy get that lip tattoo rather than a traditional wedding, I warned you all that she was trouble. Petty, true, traditional Harlem. Here's the unexpected turn, though. The so-called money puppet master emerged from the shadows, just as the PR problem was burning every pocket in Harlem. According to anonymous Reddit leaks, the intern was tipped to disclose everything by this shadowy character, a dubious ex-manager named Reggie. They claim that Reggie oversaw Cam's road shows in the middle of the 2010s until Cam abandoned him for cutting club checks short. Seems that Reggie harbored resentment as big as baby in Harlem blocks. The man went full whistleblower when Reggie discovered that Cam was using a fictitious baby plot to pocket hush money while still owing him unpaid tour percentages. He gave screenshots to the intern. He provided hush tapes to bloggers. He apparently even sold a voice memo with Cam barking on the phone to a podcast for 4 figures. Encourage Chrissy to continue crying. Product is moved by tears. When they believe she is unhappy, we make more money, man. When that voice memo appeared on the timeline, everyone's jaws dropped. Brooklyn to Harlem. Even Monis had to make a dreary public relations statement after becoming the youthful, renowned ringmaster of TV Ratchet circus reunions. As of right now, Miss Lampkin has no contracts with any of our shows. Regarding unsubstantiated claims, we have nothing to say. Translation? This mess can't even be spun back onto our reunion couch, girl. But the brands continued to run away like roaches at dawn as the Puppet Master's receipts bounced from blog to blog. Overnight, Cam lost to mid-tier liquor endorsements. During a reported Die-Pet anniversary tour, his name was discreetly removed, according to a text thread released by one promoter. Cam pleaded for a $50,000 advance, promising that the fallout from the baby plot would soon end. As a spoiler, it didn't, and the most heinous leaked to data screen grab of a private group chat. It showed Cam, Chrissy, and a public relations fixer talking about which gossip blogs. They would pay to remove any unfavorable headlines if the phony baby story went out of control. Reggie himself shared it with a YouTube blogger. There was also a petty message in the chat. Sure, Jim doesn't learn until the bag is cleared. Guess what, though? He wasn't the only one who discovered it. The entire planet did too. Die-Pet's once indestructible brotherhood resembled the rubbish heap in Harlem. Brand endorsements and ashes, torn contracts, and smoldering friendships. Additionally, it wasn't simply Instagram memes anymore due to government snitchling. Both Cam and Chrissy were now anxious about whether hush cash was disclosed correctly due to a rumored federal tax investigation. And throughout all of this, where was Jim? Still recovering? Are you still in pain? What? The final faithful ruler of Harlem struck the booth. According to rumors, faked and betrayed, a new disc album is dropping at any moment. Few sly bits of information were spilled on Twitter. Raw, Chrissy. Savage bars with no features other than a gym-dragging Cam, and every bogus baby prop from Miami to Midtown. Don't assume that this clown act will finish with legal bills and PR apologies. Because according to the same Puppet Master Whisper network, a lawyer's safe contains an even more heinous twist. Cam and Chrissy signed a final hush agreement detailing the precise amount of fictitious baby money that was transferred behind Jim's back and how it was laundered through fictitious charitable contributions. Oh dear, if that document makes it onto the blogs, it will not only destroy Depot's final legacy, but it may bring several well-known sponsors down with them. Homeland Security has already begun to investigate. Additionally, the streets are drooling over the last receipts. Section 3. It's coming, I see. And it's the dagger that Harlem has been hankering after. Because even the rats in the gutter will feel sorry for Jim Jones when that hush file drops. Keep an eye out. Now is not the time to blink. We blow up every last secret in part 3. Here we are, then. Prepare yourself if you have come this far without holding on to your fictitious pearls. Because the next phase of this bogus baby disaster does more than simply put a final nail in Dipset's dusty coffin. It sends the whole Harlem rumor ecosystem into a raging quagmire so intense that even the oldest original residents of the block are running for cover. Do you recall that hush file? Yes, the smoking gun that Reggie alluded to. For weeks, rumors circulated throughout the streets that just 2 people had copies. Reggie and a dubious Hollywood attorney who used to handle Cam's side business when his tax issues were in the news 10 years ago. Harlem, however, overlooked one thing. When everyone's loyalty is on, secrets don't remain in a cage. Layaway. The hush file was made public 2 days after Reggie's group chat breach and a week after Jim's devastating live tirade. There was only one anonymous Google Drive link spread. Throughout the comment sections of every post that even remotely alluded to Chrissy Cam or phony Baby Snow, major tabloid bombshell. No podcast exclusive. The link became a global trend in under 1 hour. Contracts, signed NDAs, wire instructions, and a grainy PDF with the final split agreement printed in large red letters were all in that folder, which was a veritable goldmine. It detailed how Chrissy, Cam, a dubious OBGYN, and others would divide the earnings from this so-called baby story, as well as the public relations gossip fixer who pitched the tale to sponsors. Additionally, a side comment that was stashed away in the same file nearly blazed through the screen. Jim won't be notified until the very last minute once all sponsor payments have been processed. The collective consciousness of Harlem was lost. TikTok detectives blended savage memes with old recordings of Jim kissing Chrissy's tummy on stage, now captioned with sobbing emojis and clown faces, posted breakdowns in real time, and screen-recorded every page. Until it spread like a digital wildfire that no lawyer could put out, the entire globe laughed, gasped, and then shared it with their messiest group chats. Furthermore, if the hush file wasn't, the last bit of family laundry was brought into the open by Mama Jones, Harlem's favorite mother-in-law, which was embarrassing enough. Outside her favorite hair parlor, a hungry blogger interrupted her in the middle of her tirade. No apology, no filter. Harlem has been waiting for those words, and she spat them out. Chrissy was always poison to her. She claimed that years ago she pleaded with Jim to open his eyes. He is now dealing with heartache, embarrassment, and a lawyer's cost that is too heavy for Cam to ignore. The sponsors moved more quickly than Chrissy's staff could come up with a press release. Vitamin deals are gone, baby. Branded pregnancy. Photos were canceled with harsh demands for reimbursement. A lawsuit for brand damage resulting from involvement with a false narrative was threatened by a designer boutique that she featured on her stories. Dollar by dollar, everything was collapsing. In the meantime, Cam performed what only Cam is capable of. He didn't cry behind a lawyer's words. He didn't release a heartfelt video apology. No, Cam smirked as he introduced himself as Harlem's favorite villain while wearing a sweatshirt partly off and dancing with chains on his chest. He laughed and took a sip from a crimson cup. According to him, loyalty has died, and he is the only one who is honest enough to own that he killed it. Half of the audience clapped, despite the deluge of clown and snake emojis in the comment section, because Harlem loves a villain who says what everyone else is too false to mutter. Jim refrained from responding with yet another clumsy lie. He did what he normally does best instead. He struck the booth. 3 days later, an unpolished freestyle with the title "No More Puppets" appeared on SoundCloud. It was an expression of unadulterated pain without a beat. Jim's voice breaks as he rambles on about treachery, phony sobs, and brotherhood that is turned into a cemetery. By midnight, the song was being played on vehicle speakers in every Harlem block by fans who were paying homage to what Dipset had previously stood for. However, the real dogs of the federal government followed sadness and clown memes, so the internet didn't stop for long. Word got out that Homeland Security had discovered suspicious funds connected to the phony charity fund that Chrissy and Cam had promoted during the bump plot. Their so-called Moms Foundation, it turns out, did not provide any financial support to mothers who were struggling. Brand checks were directed directly back to them on invoices from shell companies. Influencer drama is no longer that. Wire fraud is what that is. Barbara Hopp began making jokes about the upcoming Dipset reunion special taking place in a federal courtroom rather than on VH1. Since Harlem knew deep down that this was more than phony belly bands and phony Instagram captions, the laughter masked the heartache. This story was about a family that was once the final example of unadulterated devotion on stage. They would sell each other out for a messy payoff and a popular hashtag, according to the receipts. And the dirt continued to flow just as people believed the leaks had stopped. Just one name, Lil Moo, an elderly errand boy from a Dipset, appeared, like a ghost from the mixtape credits. Cam's duffel bags were carried back when flip phones were the norm by the same Lil Moo. In an awkward YouTube interview, he made a comeback and claimed to have backup discs containing unreleased audio notes of Cam and Chrissy giggling about baby check paydays while Jim sat in the adjacent room, believing he had finally permanently locked down his forever queen. In his cryptic tweets and teaser files, Moo hinted that if the funds ran out, he would either sell them to the highest bidder or worse, turn them over to Homeland Security as extra proof. There was no danger. It was the last sad joke about Harlem. In the metropolis, even the rats have receipts. Mona Scott Young was nowhere to be seen behind all of this mayhem. A specter. She is rumored to be on vacation abroad paying her crisis. PR team triple charges to spin every article away from her name. There have been no statements or dubious reunions. This garbage couldn't be turned into a tidy episode storyline by even the queen of marketed reality drama. What about the fans? Out of sympathy, some stayed with Jim, reliving that freestyle as though each bar could restore his damaged self-esteem. Cam was singled out by some as the realest snake in Harlem. Never produced offspring. Honest, but barbaric. The last straw that ultimately revealed how phony the allegiance was. Real brotherhood died with the first hush payment. The others muttered. As they stood back, removed the Dipset emblem from their profile pictures, and shook their heads with every new report. Attorneys flew around like vultures. Federal officials hinted to curious bloggers that grand juries were being prepared in case any more phony charity payments turned up, while cease and desist letters pounded in boxes. The puppet master Reggie, who delighted in all of these leaks, disappeared once more into the shadows, most likely counting the silence. He vowed to despise money. Despite everything, Jim's final tweet before permanently disappearing from social media was exactly what Harlem needed to hear. 3 words written in a tiny white font on a black square with no caption. Loyalty doesn't exist. Thousands of comments were left. A few reassured him. He was made fun of by others for not seeing the warning signs, yet the truth still came out. The dream had died. Unity wasn't Dipset. It was only performance and paperwork. Some claim that Cam still harbors additional secrets. That he might release a mixtape with no title that tells his story. Some claim that Chrissy's attorney will get a payment from all the companies that are now doing foolishly by refusing to do business with her. Additionally, some claim that after Lil Moo flips that hard drive for his own 15 minutes, the final scandal may bury them all. Harlem will always remember the baby bump that never was. That much is clear. The betrayal was so vile that it brought down even the last devoted man, and the falsehood turned street lords into cautionary tales. This has nothing to do with a baby. It was about pride, greed, and a lesson in block letters etched into the streets of Harlem. When the cameras stop rolling, you can't trust anyone. This graveyard of secrets will spit up one last body, and Harlem will be ready to watch. So pour out one for the fairy tale that crashed and burned once that final voicemail leaks. Family, there you have it. These so-called Harlem Royals believed they could sweep beneath your feet without us noticing every soiled receipt, every snake move, and every false tear. Chrissy and Cam'ron did more than just hustle a baby. They spit on every fan who ever cried Dipset for life at the top of their lungs, turned loyalty into hush money, and hustled an entire legacy. But you know what? Harlem is always remembering. Additionally, you were present when the mask fell off. Now, I would like to know which side you actually support. Did Harlem deserve Cam as a villain? Or should Harlem have buried Judith years ago? Was Chrissy the brains behind the entire spectacle? Or was she merely Cam's scripted puppet with nicer lashes? Was Jim too devoted for a street that consumes its own? Or was he blind? Now share your raw theory in the comments. defend, roast, and argue. Everything is being read by me. And believe me, as soon as Lil Moo reveals that final voicemail bombshell, I'll have a part 2 ready. You believe Cam's next move will be even dirtier? Press that like. Don't miss the day Jim appears in court without a lawyer and with a microphone by subscribing to Smash. Additionally, share this with that one cousin who will always use the term dipset. Remind them that loyalty is more expensive than a phony pregnancy bump and a pink fur coat. Remain petty. Remain locked in. And keep in mind that nothing is kept a secret in Harlem. No snake remains quiet. And I'll be here for you no matter what, pulling every single receipt into the light. See you at the next Make It Public. Moreover, make sure your burner phones are charged.